Hello everyone and welcome back to Adventures with Clive. We are on the beach now. We have survived the Nautiloid crash by some mysterious way. And so we are going to go throughout the beach and find some friends. We can see that the Nautiloid crash is all over the place, so we can scrounge around for some supplies as well. And here's a dead fisherman here. Definitely seen better days. Alright, so we do have Shadowheart here. We can talk to her. So if you did not pass that check, Shadowheart would not be here. You'll have to find her further down in front of the doors on the north side of the beach. If you passed by her pod and didn't save her, or if you failed the check, that's where she'll be as well. So let's just wake her.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
I was hoping you might know that.
I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Now what?
First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
Alright, so you want to stay together?
We need each other, and we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
Alright, let's get moving.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that. Lead the way.
Okay, let's summon our familiar here. We can summon this all the time, as long as we're not in combat. And pick the Raven, because if you pick another pet and some of the terrain gets pretty rough, they get stuck in places and it becomes a pain. Alright, so now that we have Shadowheart on our side, we can select between either her or myself. And you can do that quickly with just F1, F2, and however many party members you have. It's F1 through 4. So that'll help with quick keys here. And let's see, I think you could also adjust her spells. She does not have Bless starting off. I would highly recommend you get Guidance and Bless. So she has Guidance as a cantrip. Let's just drop the shield and take Bless. It's going to be so much better. And these are both concentration spells, but you're 99% of the time going to be using Bless over every other concentration spell. It's definitely the better one to have, and it's probably going to be the one you're going to be using in just about every situation, unless you need to use a Guardian Spirit or something like that. But for now, we'll just stick with that one. Okay, so we have Shadowheart. Alright, so let's move on. We can find some things along the beach here. There is a pouch here, so I think I mentioned before, you take these pouches. There's a potion in there, great. But you definitely want to pick these up. And you pick these up because if you look at the weight for these things, it is 0.3. And these pouches will let you add stuff to them. So we can double click and open them, or right click open. And we can add in some valuable things we don't want to see in our inventories. And we now have a little jewel pouch or gem pouch that we can sell stuff from whenever we get to the vendor. And this definitely is probably one of the best ways to keep your inventories clean. I'll just work on my inventory a little bit later. So we have a rope here. Not really important. Also, another thing you can do is grab these backpacks. Those are also fairly handy. And we do get our first hat. The old floppy hat. And the backpacks, they weigh 1. So it's not too much of a difference between the backpacks and pouches, but it is nice to have both of those. And I'm gonna wear this. And our guy looks like a cowboy. He looks like a sheriff. And he is a ranger. It's a good theme there. Yeah, the mustache and the hat, they go well together. Okay, so let's go down to this area. And I'll probably just grab all the stuff in this area. There's not going to be anything that we're going to be fighting here. So I'll just go through here, grab all the stuff, and then come back. So you're not seeing me loot all these bodies. Okay, so we just went through and looted all the stuff along the coast here. So that's pretty much everything on the beach. And we came to these ancient doors and this overgrown ruins. And this is a sigil circle. This lets us teleport to different parts of the map. It's like just a way to quickly get around the map. And you will uncover a lot of these, and they are very helpful, especially in situations where you get stuck somewhere and you can't get out. Those will let you get out. So this ancient door, we could try to lockpick this. I don't think it's going to be worth it. We'll find another way in there. So we'll go around here and do a few more things on the beach before we actually get to the ruins. And most of the stuff I grabbed was camp supplies. So you get a bunch of fish and apples and stuff on the beach. And you're going to need these for whenever you are creating your camp. So it's always good to pick up the camp supplies. You should have at least a couple of days, so probably like 120 would be nice to have in your inventory. And that would be 3 days for full rest. And I did pick up another backpack, and then that's pretty much it. I did get this perfume letter. And this was from one of the fishermen that was on the beach. And this just says that Anna sent a letter to Sai, and she's looking forward to seeing him in Baldur's Gate soon. He obviously didn't make it, so maybe when we get to Baldur's Gate, we can deliver that letter and tell her what happened.
More of those wretched things.
There goes the little intellect devourers running around. Alright, so we're going to have some combat here. So you want to look for Mind Flayer bodies, because those also have void bulbs on them. It's definitely worth just scrounging around for those. Okay, so I was going to go higher.
One strike could be lethal.
Let's go higher here, and then try to get some height on these guys. So if you had a cantrip of fire, you can hit this mysterious liquid and explode this. I don't have fire cantrips, and I don't have a fire arrow either. So I'm kind of stuck with just doing the straight attacks. And we have to switch to our ranged weapon. There we go. And we have 95% chance to hit, so there we go. We do have high ground. You always want to start your ranger off in high ground. So we're fighting 3 intellect devourers. They're already weakened. And our little pet here, he has the ability to rend vision. So we can now cause them to be blind. And blindness does a few things. If you hit T, you can see what each thing does. So they already have blind sight, so it's not really a big deal that I tried to blind them. Probably better just attack them at that point. So you always want to check for that first, just to see what statuses they have. Because you don't really need to blind something again. You're better off using a better attack or spell. Alright, we should be able to hit this guy. Yeah, he's the lowest. And that got us a level up. Nice. He's not going to be able to attack. He just burned his dash. Early on, you have to worry about enemies having multiple attacks per round. Alright, so if we hit... if you have a pet that has fly, fly lets you get much further than you would if you were to run. So we can just... I'd always recommend flying first. And can we get up here?
You fight well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
Well, thanks. There is not much on these intellect devourers, but there was a dead mind flayer up there. Yeah, there's probably nothing on these things. Oh, there's a brain. These brains... Where's that at? Did I pick that up? Oh, it's an alchemy supply. So if we want to look at our alchemy supplies, we can see what each one of these can provide us. But you first have to grind these down into actual ingredients. And you can do that by hitting H. And hit H, and then you can extract the ingredients. And it usually requires 3 ingredients to extract to make 1 alchemy ingredient. So just keep that in mind as you're going throughout. You might want to keep extracting ingredients.
Best be on my way.
And we can get access to some of these things up here, like a Mind Flayer corpse and a chest. Wizard Bane oil. There's oils for melee, and there's also oils for some spellcasters, so you can keep an eye out for those. This guy's got a decent amount of stuff on him. And let's get up here. And he's got another void bulb. So we're doing good on void bulbs. I think we missed one because there's dead bodies in the room that we're fighting to get to the console. So I think we might have missed some there. So I would recommend just going to this direction. So we go straight through. And we're going to encounter Astarian out here. We want to talk to him first. Then we'll talk to Gale. Right, so there should be a few things we can pick up here. You want these thieves' tools. Here's a musical instrument. You can find musical instruments throughout the world. So if you're a bard, you can switch out your musical instruments, and that will let you have access to different songs as your character. If you have a bard in your party and they're not your actual character, the songs are fairly static. Here's Astarian.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
We'll just say easily stand back. Both result in the same action, so...
There. Can you see it?
But we want to be helpful. I like the little tassel on his hat. It's funny. Oh, it's a boar.
Just a dumb boar. You're relieved until you see the flash of a dagger.
Put it away. We don't need to fight.
Don't we? I saw you on the ship. Free, scuttling about. You're in league with them, aren't you? Those tentacled... Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
It's a Mind Flayer worm. It connected us.
The worm. Of course. That explains things, somewhat. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
If you look at his neck, you can see the bite marks on his neck. Apology accepted. I might have done the same where the roles reversed. So you get
kindred spirit.
Shadowheart approves that. Astarian approves it too.
My name's Astarian. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
We'll just say we're Baldurian too, and he'll just comment on that.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles. So, do you know anything about these worms?
Yes, unfortunately, they will turn us into Mind Flayers.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
Control it? We need to get rid of it.
Well, yes, of course. But first things first.
You should travel with me. Our odds are better together.
You know, I was ready to go this alone. But maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know. All right. I accept. Lead on.
Alright, he gets a level up. We all have level up, so let's just go through that fairly quickly. We'll start with him. I think his is just straightforward. Level 2 rogue. Yeah, he gets the cunning actions, and that's pretty much it. So, easy enough. And then we have Shadowheart. I don't remember what domain she is. I think she's the trickster domain. I think that's what it's called. But she gets the trickster spells, and she also gets a divinity charge now. And you can add a class to her if you wanted to, but we'll respec her later. For now, this is actually going to work out. We want more damage than we do support right now. And then we have my character, the cowboy. So we have two options, and I'm going to pick Ensnaring Strike because we have the bonus from our traits that we picked early on. And you always pretty much want to go with Hunter's Mark because it boosts up your damage. You deal an additional 1 to 6 damage or whatever you hit with a weapon. And you can move it. As you kill something, you can move the Hunter's Mark around. So you most certainly want to go with Hunter's Mark. You can go with Speak with Animal if you want to get access to the animals. And we get the fighting style archery because we are ranged. So when you get Hunter's Mark early on, it boosts up your damage by quite a bit actually. It could almost double your damage. Okay, before we leave this area where Astarian is, let's go down here. There's a little spot you can go down here. And there's a rock over here we can hopefully uncover. There's that boar. We could try to talk to the boar, but I've never had any good success with it. And we don't have to speak with the animal anyways, but yeah, I've always tried to talk to it. It just runs away. So we should uncover this. Oh.
Deep grooves in the mud around.
Okay, so it's nature check. We need to get our strength character, which I think she has the most strength, and you just drag it. Drag the rock over. I'm gonna get closer. And we can move that rock somewhere, right? Am I in the way? Too far. Okay, move it a little bit at a time, I guess. I guess my strength isn't as great as I thought it was. So then we get this little chest here, and let's pick our character, and then let's grab this chest. And you get some information here about harpers. Harpers play a pretty big role. Okay, they play a role in the story later on. So we can look at this harper map and read about it. And it talks about a harper map that marks an area called Moonrise Towers, with a small inky crescent stretched in the nearby forest. Below the crescent is a more recent scrawl, cache. So we've uncovered a cache. When we get to Act 2, we can look at that cache and find out what's there. It's also a Harper notebook. And it's just a tattered collection of reports held together with a moon and a harp seal. There is frequent mention of sacrilegious activity among a local Selunite sect. We are kind of done with that. Yeah, it's a little bit of foreshadowing for later. Moonrise Towers plays a pretty big role later on, but we're a little ways away from that point. The actual maps are fairly comprehensive. This map is very large, talking about a massive area. So we want to go north a little bit, and then we'll come back through this little path. Cut around through here. This is where the mind flayer is.
There. A mind flayer.
Alright, you definitely want to save when you get to this point. You could fail a check here, and you die.
Bound to be dangerous, even if injured.
You approach the dying monster. This is the thing that abducted you. You could end its life here and now, if only you didn't feel compassion. Compassion.
Okay, you want to try to fight this. We can go no, that you should be furious, shouldn't you?
Yes, you feel hate, and you deserve to be punished for it. You should be whipped, made to bow before this creature in shame. It's possessing your mind, forcing you to love it, but then the feeling slips. The creature's mind seems to focus elsewhere.
So we can do a intelligence check here and gain a little bit of insight. So it's a 10, we have a -1, but we have our bonus to guidance, so kind of nullifies that -1.
Your minds fuse, lusting for something that is gone. But then its grip claws back with a vengeance, a vice locking your mind into obedience. It needs sustenance to survive, and with your very body, you can provide.
Alright, so you do not want to lean in for a kiss. So we have to do a wisdom check. We have a pretty good wisdom, but you know, there's always that chance that we fail. And we need a 5. So as long as we don't roll like 1, we're fine. There we go. If you fail this check, you pretty much die, so.
The monster lies exhausted, defeated. Its eyes, wet orange pearls, radiate malice.
I don't know if there's any later consequences for leaving it to die slowly. We can just try to do that. I've seen crazier things, like the little brain that you remove from the skull on the ship. That thing will come back later on and be a friend. So there is a possibility that this guy could see our actions now and maybe help us later on. Who knows? Or he could kill us later on. So we did find out that he is looking for something, and we was not able to find it, so
Checking for supplies, maybe.
some goblins here. Grab all the stuffs. There's a portal here. I think this is, yeah, so we just skip this one little section down here, but I think there's nothing really in there. That's where we fought the one group at. Alright, so let's go click on the sigil.
You approach the sigil on the stone. Magic glitters and swirls from it erratically, as if malfunctioning. It looks slightly dangerous.
Let's give it a touch.
A hand?
This is Gale.
Anyone?
Just slap the hand. So we can do a strength check. We'll do that. It's not a hard one. Of course, we get guidance. Always use guidance if you have a cleric in your party or a druid. There we go. So we can help out Gale.
That's it! Go on! Keep pulling!
Took a little bit of time to get him out of there.
Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
No need to apologize. Are you alright?
A bit shocked, but friend, it's a relief and a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the North Lloyd as well.
I was, yes.
And I can only assume you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region.
Go on.
The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers?
I am.
It's a process known as ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided. You don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
None of those things work, unfortunately.
You seem to know enough about our condition to realize it's beyond most clerics' skills.
Most, no doubt. But I find myself hoping to be in the presence
I
of
like how
few.
Shadowheart chimes in about clerics.
You don't happen to be one of them.
So I'll just pick the ranger option.
As we've established, few enough can. It's not exactly a common affliction. We're most certainly going to need a healer, and soon, too. How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Sounds like a plan. You're welcome to join me.
Most excellent. A parasite shared is a parasite halved, or something to that effect. Oh, but before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you. For I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
Alright, and he gets a level up. He is a wizard. And we get the waypoint that he crawled out of. So we can pick the subclass for him. They recommend evocation. I would recommend evocation. It is probably the better one out of all these. And I think he has Witch Bolt, Mage Armor, Sleep, and Grease. So we probably want to go with something a little more long range and short range. Magic Missiles is pretty good early on, and so is Chromatic Orb. Those are two pretty good ones, and this one's an evocation. So we should be fine here, I think. Yeah. The earlier decisions are not that big of a deal. And once again, you can respec, so I wouldn't worry too much about changing things up for your companions. Alright, the next place we have to go is north. Actually, I did miss something. Oh, we go across this path here. We want to look for a shovel. There's a shovel somewhere over here. Up north is also a way to Laezel. So we can talk to Laezel and help her out. But I want to get the shovel first. We don't want to go any farther north than this, because that will trigger an event. There it is. Okay. This is just an important thing to get right now.
I hear shouting up ahead.
So we can dig up mounds of dirt and uncover chests. And you can find some different things from that. But we don't want to go any farther north than this little hill. That will trigger a different event that we will see later on. Alright, so we actually have a full party now, and so we're going to run into someone else. I'm going to actually go around and talk to these people. If we come in from that direction, we can still talk to them. I'm just going to go around this way, in case we fail some checks.
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad, twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
There's a couple options here. So we can shoot down a trap, and this will cause the fight to occur. And this will also cause us to be sort of like evil. And of course you can just straight up attack the tieflings. If we use deception, it will prevent us from fighting. So I'm going to go with deception, since this is probably the better route for a good character. I want them to leave. Hopefully we make this. Oh, we got it. Nice.
He's right. Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
A blast? I could use more specifics.
You didn't hear it. Shook our camp good, so we came for a look.
I'm in dire need of healing. Where is this camp? That should be pretty easy.
Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
And be careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
He's referring to the Druid Grove.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Now that they're out of earshot, sure. They're not really out of earshot, but... So we just attack the base of this. There we go.
The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
So if you have Laezel and Shadowheart in your party, there will be conflicts throughout. Laezel respects people that are more direct and straightforward in their thinking, so we can have her join us, but we'll send her to our camp though. So what is this creche?
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter. Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a gay tadpole, we must report to Augustil for purification.
Alright, we'll journey together. Let's find this creche.
You are full up. Dismiss your weakest warrior.
Wait at my camp. We can speak there.
Very well, but heed my words. The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. I must interrogate this Zoru. Our very lives depend on it. I will be at your camp. Do not keep me waiting.
So eventually it comes to a head where you have to choose between Laezel or Shadowheart. So you can choose whichever one you want. I think they're both equally as useful. You can find another cleric, or you can find another melee. Right, so this is outside the ruins. So if we look over here in the map, there's this door down here, and we have Warren, and there is a mage, and there is 2 people down here, so there's 4 people in total. We can straight up talk to them. So we'll go talk to them. I think I have the best charisma out of everyone. Let me just double check that. So eventually we won't be the one talking. If we look at everybody's sheets here, I have a +2, -1, +2, Astarian, and Gale, he has a +3. So probably Gale would be the better one. I do have insight, so for most checks we'll just use Gale, but then I'll talk as well if I need to.
Certainly.
You!
This guy looks pretty rough.
Boss! Got company up here!
What's this then? Trying to creep around us and loot the crypt?
Exactly.
Not happening. Or is it the ship you're after? Don't matter either way. It's ours. All of it.
Okay, so we get our options here: persuasion, deception, and intimidation. Usually these 3 will coincide with each other. So you pick the one that you specialize in, and that would be persuasion. So the ship's full of monsters. I wouldn't go near it. And we can get our little guidance bonus. And 11. Easy enough.
Well, in that case, come on, you lot. No point in getting killed. Second worm gets the cheese and all.
Second mouse gets the cheese, no?
Nobody's getting any damn cheese. Now move it.
Alright, they left.
You're more cunning than you look. I thought we had a fight on our hands.
So you definitely could fight them. It's not that difficult to fight them. But I'd say in a good playthrough, we try to spare as many people as we can. There's some creeping vines here, so you want to keep out of those. The next group will not be as friendly though.
Time and the elements have left the plaque unreadable.
Yeah. There are some boxes that we want to get to. Okay, so what we're going to do is probably... I'm going to get my character here, and we're going to shoot this rope. And this will drop this boulder. This will drop this rock into this crevice. So this opens up a hole, and we'll go in that hole in a moment. But I did want to show you a nature check. So there's a dirt mound here, and this is why we did the shovel, because now we can dig up this dirt mound, and we get a little chest, and in this chest is some gold and a healing potion. And there's also other stuff down here we can go to. There is a hatch that we can unlock later on. So now we're at the point where we have to go inside of this crypt, and there are several options, but the two main ones are the front door or this hole. Alright, and this would be a pretty good time to call it for this episode. So we did make it through all of the beach. Look at our map, we uncovered all this area starting with here, and pretty much all of the beach and the Nautiloid crash. We also got 4 new companions, one of them is at the camp. So in the next episode we will tackle these ruins, and then we'll see what we find in there. So that'll be it for this episode. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.